Welcome to the Steve and Bethany podcast.
It's your weekly dose of hope, encouragement, and a whole lot of fun.
All right, let's get to it.
It's episode 26.
All right, welcome in, everybody. We are glad that you're joining us wherever you are in this world. Thank you for making us a part of your podcasting routine, and we're so happy here. We're doing something a little fun that I think maybe can be an episode that we kind of come back to as a recurring episode.
Yeah, I think
because,
so.
We had an idea from one of our Patreon members about doing episode about songs and how songs have impacted your walk with Christ, which I thought was phenomenal. And we got such a great response. And we'll be getting to that here in just a minute. But our big giveaway that we've been talking about for weeks now with our buddies at Chip and Wade Custom Woodworks.
Chip and Wade,
Yes.
two friends.
They are, and two listeners.
Two listeners.
They are giving away a customized cornhole game, maybe called Bago where you are. And it's going to be fully regulation size, handmade.
And we do mean like fully customized, like whatever you want on it. You can literally, like this family, the Layrock family.
This was one last week I told you, the family about that for the wedding present.
Oh,
this
very
was it.
cool. I like that.
There's one with the Atlanta Braves.
Nice.
And there's some right there. There's a customized design there. Wade of Chip and Wade is a big time Air Force guy, 30 years in the military.
Oh, wow.
So he's got one customized with the Air Force logo on it.
Cool.
So many of those that you can customize, and no matter where you are watching and or listening to this podcast, you can win. They will ship it to you wherever in the world.
But you do want to go ahead and put your entry in because we are announcing the winner next week.
Say that again.
We are announcing the winner next week.
So go to steveandbethany.com right now. Get your entry in. Final last second entry, because we will be calling the winner on this very podcast. Coming up next week when we get together again.
Before we move on, I think it's important to say thank you to Mama Jarvis.
Yes.
Well, technically it was Jarvis Sr., but I think Mama Jarvis inspired him. She made us hot chocolate, or they made us hot chocolate. Isn't that nice?
It's very nice.
This is like high class hot chocolate too.
I'm starting to get a little bit of the, important feeling around here.
Really, when somebody hands you hot chocolate,
I know.
What better way to say I value you as a person?
I'm trying to tell you. Okay, you and I were talking just before we got started about how much I missed you while you were in Texas, which, by the way, if you did not know what we're talking about, last week's episode. Right. You could go back in the archives.
I was gone for 2 weeks and some change.
Right. Now, you didn't notice that. We taped ahead. But, yes, it had been a while since we
And you really did miss me, I
did miss you. And here's the thing. And the reason why I missed you is because you talked about all the people. We saw the picture, and you told us about everybody that was there and how great they were in East Texas. But here's the problem. Here's the thing. It happens, and this happens. Look, give me a tight shot here. This happens every time Bethany goes somewhere. Bethany is so talented. She's so good.
Gosh.
We love Bethany. Here's the thing. They fall in love with Bethany. I have dealt with this ever since I've met this young lady, okay? See, you need me, because you can't hardly get into the doorway. Your head is so big after being around these people. You need me on that wall. You need me right here, being sure that you are coming down to earth a little bit. That's the whole reason why.
Okay, listen, I used that exact phrase, "you can't fit through the door, your head's so big," as I was telling people about you.
No, you don't.
I give you my word, I did.
No, that's not true.
Down at the station.
That's not true.
People were asking, they were like, so what is it like working with Steve? And I said, oh, well, he's super fun. One of the best guys. I was very nice. I was very complimentary. And I said, one thing that Steve does is that anytime, even when we would work together, 4 years ago, anytime anyone would say, oh, Bethany, you've got a nice voice, or, oh, Bethany, you're doing a good job, Steve would immediately slide in there with a knock and say, and you would say, whoa. She won't be able to fit her head through the door. Her ego's getting so big. So that's what I shared with them. I said, Steve was a balance for me.
That's exactly what I am.
I never struggled with my ego, but you apparently thought I did.
I'm not kidding about this. I have been, listen, when we were a morning show together, we would have executives from the radio station come by, big wigs, and we would both be in the hallway, and the radio station bigwigs would address and talk only to Bethany. Not me.
That didn't happen.
They would not. No, it happened more than one occasion. And they would engage Bethany, and they would talk about Bethany being so talented and being so young and so great, and just Bethany hung the moon. We love Bethany. We want to name our children after Bethany. And never, I got a pop over there from Jarvis Jr.
See you.
But I would never, they wouldn't, I'm telling you, I was a ghost.
So
they
you were
didn't even see me.
jealous?
Not jealous. No, not, well, okay. Okay, kind of jealous.
Well, do you wish that you were a young lady in your 20s?
Well, kind of, because I've worked 25 years in this, and I don't have people fawning all over me all the time, and you do. But
You
I
lost your sparkle.
That's what you need to call me. That should be my nickname, the balance. Like the situation, I'm the balance for you. That's perfect.
Okay.
Because you need me. It's just like Jack Nicholson in the movie. You need me on that wall.
This was the thing, though.
You know what movie I'm referencing, right?
No.
A Few Good Men?
A Few Good Men. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I wondered what I saw.
Can you handle the truth?
Yeah, I heard it when he's doing that, and I saw him in the military uniform, but I didn't remember what the movie was
I am
called.
Colonel Jessup.
All right.
To your Tom Cruise.
Well, listen, I did say too that Steve has a very distinct Bethany impersonation.
Yeah.
And
Bethany is so great. Well, it's not really of you. It's about
just
other
of
people.
other people talking about me. But I
we
shared that
love
with
Bethany.
I shared that with all
Jarvis's
the people down
mom
in
is like
Texas. Listen, people love me.
I
can't.
know.
How's that my fault?
Well, that's not.
No,
it's not.
did.
You are a great person, and I enjoy having you, and I
Thank you.
enjoy being around you and everything. But you need me. You have to have me in your life.
I did bring that up with all the people down in Texas that Steve thinks that I needed to be knocked down a peg every now and then.
All the time. Yes.
Just a constant, just a little hey.
And you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's tough love.
It is tough love.
It's tough love.
It's mostly just tough though. But that's what it is. That's what it is. But anyways, all that to say, I promise I was very complimentary of you to the people down in Texas.
Well, thank you. That was nice.
And I came back as soon as I could. And I said, you know, you are never going to be replaced. You are always going to be the one that was alongside me, encouraging me.
That's all I want.
You're the original.
That's all I want.
You just need me to be reassuring you.
Yes. Well, see, again, go to the ears. You don't know about it.
For radio people, it's not about whether or not you have insecurities. It's how deep do they go.
Praise. Absolutely. Praise be. That's exactly right. No, but no, I'm so glad that you did have a good time down there. But I'm telling you, you people think I'm over exaggerating, but I really am not. Everywhere Bethany goes, this happens, whether we went out as a radio station duo just to meet listeners, whether it was the executives, whether it's people at other radio stations, whatever. Bethany's just the greatest thing we've ever seen.
I do think that this is maybe your attitude is kind of spreading because the guy that I was on in the mornings with down in Texas while we were fundraising.
Right.
So I was on the air for 9 days.
Yeah, right.
In those 9 days, I had a listener make me a t-shirt. With it said my buddy Bethany because she was like, I consider you my friend, and here's the t-shirt. This guy
25 years in radio, nobody's made me a t-shirt. She's there 25 hours.
This guy that I was on the mornings though with, he goes, I've been doing this job 6 years and I've never gotten a t-shirt.
You see?
What's up with this?
I know. Well, you see, I know.
I'm sorry. So he was kind of getting a little bit of the same vibe that you have.
But you need me on that wall.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is, Steve, you're not replaceable. You're always going to be my favorite. It's okay.
I just need that reassurance from time to time.
That's what I try to provide. Yeah. But hey, we do really want to hear from you because I do think that this episode is something that we could kind of continue to talk about, just in regards to what songs have impacted you because people are always becoming believers, new believers happening all the time. And so I think there's always those situations where you hear that right song at the right time that can really impact you. And so we want to continue to hear those stories and share those with you.
Absolutely. And I was kind of hesitant to do it because I thought, okay, not everybody's a music fan. Not everybody gets into music. But I seriously, when I threw it out there, I was really kind of overwhelmed with the responses and some of the stories from people about how a certain song really impacted their life. And it's so amazing to me. I'm so, I kid around about being jealous of you, but well, sort of, but I'm so like in awe of people who can write songs and write songs really well.
Yeah.
To be able to take, I've told you this before, but for me, it's Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Yeah.
I listened to what Stephen Curtis Chapman writes, and I think to myself, that's not a song that I just like. That's a song that comes from my heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if I had the talent, I would be writing those songs. It just speaks to me like that. But we'll get into some of our personal favorites coming up. But we've got some that we had sent in to us, and I think
because we reached out to all the patrons, really kind of reached out to them most, and just said, share with us what songs have impacted you. And so I thought this was really cool. Pat, he sent out, and he really gave a wide variety. You know, he said that he worked in youth ministry in the 80s. And so
this is Pat Davis.
Pat Davis, yourhealthplanman.com. He's a great guy. So he responded and said that there were a bunch of different songs, but he said pretty much anything of Petra, which my dad was a huge Petra fan. And so I grew up listening to Petra as well. Servant. And then he said Vineyard Worship in the 90s. And then today it's a mix of Bethel and Hillsong and different things like that. He said particularly Hillsong starts and ends. That song is a definite favorite in my life.
I've never heard that one.
I don't think I have either.
I'm not familiar with that one. Okay, I got this one from Hannah. Hannah said a song called "Live Again" by Sean Curran. She said, we heard that song for the first time during a very rough time in our infertility journey. Her and her husband had struggled for years to get pregnant, and now they just had a baby boy not terribly long ago, which is really cool. And you know what they named him? Samuel.
Nice.
Her name is Hannah.
Oh, I like
and
it.
So, yeah, very
cool.
And she quoted one of the lines of the song. It said, "God of the impossible, you know my name, you know my story. No mountain could ever stop the plans you've made. Your heart is for me. I believe in your I believe in your name. Miracles will happen. I believe in your name. Miracles will happen." She said that song really got them through a very tough infertility time. So that's really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then Patrick, he reached out as well, and he said, "I love most of the old like Gaither vocal band songs. A lot of those.
I do too.
For me, Gaither vocal band is really, really nostalgic. My grandparents listen to it all the time, and my grandpa actually lived with us for about a month and a half because my grandma had surgery, and so he needed to live with us just so we could take care of him while she was recovering. And he would crank the Gaithers.
Really?
Crank it. Literally outside, you could hear what he was listening to. I don't know why he wanted to listen to it so loudly, but he would almost break our stereo. He had it blasting, but that was what he loved.
It's so great. When I was in college, me and some of my college friends kind of got into this Gaither homecoming stuff because the songs were
they're so good.
They're so good, right?
Yeah.
So we decided we'll go to Memphis and see them in concert. Okay.
Nice.
So there's this stage with all of these great Southern gospel people on it, right? And I'm telling you the truth. They played, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours. And then they said, we're going to take a little break. And I'm like, take a little break. We're 20 years old. We're thinking, take a little break. We got to get back to Little Rock. You know, how long is this going to be? It was midnight or so before. They sang for like 5 or 6 straight hours.
Oh, my word.
And these are people that were elderly.
Yeah.
These are all.
What was the one lady that always had the hanky?
Vestal Goodman.
Vestal Goodman.
Okay.
She was like my favorite. I
really?
loved her.
Okay. Now now I've got to tell the Vestal story. My buddy Kirk. Now I've talked to you about Kirk. He was my best friend. He's passed away now. He had a history of heart disease in his family. Had a heart attack a couple of years ago, and very sad. But he and I were just best of friends in college.
Right.
And Vestal Goodman was his favorite. And he and I, if you want to know what Kirk was a lot like me, just in a different form, right?
Yeah.
I mean, very.
You were kind of like kindred spirits.
We were. We absolutely were. And Vestal was his favorite. And so here we are. We're walking up one of these concert things, and we're at a Gaither concert. We're at the landing, and you know how they have the merch tables.
Right.
He just kind of stopped in his tracks. And I said, what? And I looked over. There's Vestal signing autographs, and he's starstruck like you wouldn't believe. I said, well, come on. We got to go get her autograph.
This is the best part. I feel like most guys in the 90s, you know, you guys were in college.
Right, yeah.
It's like
Nirvana.
It's like Cindy Crawford. That's who your celebrity crush is. No one had a crush on Vestal Goodman besides your friend
Right.
Kirk.
No, that's exactly the truth. That is 100%.
She's doing the Pepsi commercial, and most guys are like, oh, she's really pretty. No.
That is 100% correct.
With her hanky.
I mean,
love that.
it is so, and so he is so starstruck. And he's like, oh, I don't know. No, come on. I encourage him, but we got to go. So he gets up to the front of the line. No kidding. Give me a close up. He gets up to the front of the line and his hands are shaking.
Oh
and he's like, and these are the words he gets out. You're my favorite. And she signs a thing, and she said something like,
heart.
Well, I think that's something like she said, I love you, pumpkin, or something. Or I don't know what she said. I don't remember what she said. But it was, I've never seen him so starstruck.
That's funny.
In my life because of Vestal Goodman.
Really, anything Gaither vocal band is or really just the Gaithers as a whole, anybody involved, super nostalgic for me. So I love
absolutely.
that.
I love the Gaithers too. They're good stuff. Here's one from Tanya. She wrote "Evidence" by Josh Baldwin, which is a new song.
Yeah.
In fact, she just says it's a new song. She says it talks about God's evidence can be seen guiding you through life. I enjoy reading about biographies about missionaries. A key theme is that each one has the evidence of what God has done throughout their lives and how he guides them to where he wants them to work. His evidence can be seen in everyone's life when you look back on each circumstance, skill set, ability that he has allowed us in our everyday lives to work through us every day. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And that's a song. In fact, it was just sent to the radio station to be added. And it was one of those songs that when I heard it, it's like the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. It's really a good song. If you haven't heard it, it's brand new. Again, it's called Evidence by Josh Baldwin.
Well, you'll like this one from Kevin. This is totally you. He says he likes the song I Am Found in You by Stephen Curtis Chapman. He says, I oftentimes find myself trying to handle my own life by my own plan. And this song always reminds me that apart from Christ, I'm nothing. My life is much more doable when I remember that I belong to God and that he fuels my faith. I loved that. That's really cool.
That's really good. Let's do one more right here. This one is from Garrett. He says, a big one for me is the song Redeemed from Big Daddy Weave.
Oh, I love that song.
A lot in my life I have struggled with identity, wearing a lot of shame and guilt instead of seeing myself as the child of God that I am.
Very cool.
God really ministered to my heart through this song and reminded me that I can shake off these heavy chains and wipe away every stain because I'm not who I used to be. I am redeemed.
That's really cool.
Isn't that good? Yeah, and what's also cool about that song, I wanted to bring that one up specifically because if you know the artist Zach Williams, who does Chainbreaker and all those songs, Zach, when he was still playing in kind of Southern rock kind of bands, he was actually on tour in Germany. And that song came on the radio, that I Am Redeemed.
Changed his life.
He got saved.
Yeah.
Or at least rededicated his life.
Yeah.
But what a powerful story of a song. I mean, it worked in Garrett's life just the same way it did in Zach's life. And now Zach is being able to influence people as well. So that's really cool. It's the power of a song.
Oh, totally. And we're going to talk about here in the next segment, we're going to take a little break here, but we're going to talk about the songs that have impacted our lives and just over the years, the songs that for us really stand out as impactful for our hearts.
All right, we want to jump in here real quick and remind you about our buddy Pat Davis. We just read one of his things about the song that inspires him, and he is somebody who is just like you. He has listened to this Hopecast from day one and has been a big part of it, helping us produce it, because not only does he want to be an encourager to you to help you continue in your walk with Christ and give you practical ways like we try to do every week, but he also wants to help you with your health care and get out of the rut and the cycle of being in the same thing over and over and over, paying crazy high premiums, endless deductibles. It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, because really what you said is a good word for it, just a cycle, because it does seem like all these health insurance companies are set up the exact same way, where you do pay crazy high premiums and just all of these deductibles and copays, and it just seems like this endless thing that you can't stop. But the truth is, Pat Davis is set up completely different from all of that. He's really, really unique, where it's about putting you back in control of your health care. The health insurance company actually pays up front instead of waiting for you. They pay up front, kick in their portion, and then whatever's left, that's what you pay. It's set up completely different and kind of countercultural, but it is something that he's passionate about sharing with people. And he really wants to just talk to you and your family and see if this is something that might work for you guys. As you look into next year, maybe you're looking to re-up with your current plan, or you're looking for something different, he wants to talk to you and see if something that he has might work.
Well, let's give you a real world example. Pat himself was in the hospital not terribly long ago, and he had hospital bills of about $26,000. A long hospital stay, a lot of emergency care, the whole thing. Well, not only did the insurance that he has himself, that he also sells, kick in and pay for the bill in full, it left about $2,500 or so dollars.
Yeah.
He was able to take his wife on an incredible once-in-a-lifetime trip to Italy.
Sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like, we know, and obviously he went on that trip, pre-COVID
Of
and
course,
everything. But yeah, it was something that he was able to do and, give to his wife.
Imagine being, really kind of close to dying, and then all of a sudden you get all that bill paid from your insurance.
Yeah.
You've got enough to go on a vacation.
Pretty incredible.
It really is. It's so worth looking into. We would just love for you to get in contact with Pat and just see where it goes. And if it doesn't go anywhere, all you've wasted is maybe 10, 15 minutes of your time. But I think Pat can really help you. So go to yourhealthplanman.com, yourhealthplanman.com. You'll be glad you did.
Well, hey guys, welcome back into the second portion of today's episode, talking about the songs that have impacted our lives. We heard from a lot of you. It was amazing to read everybody's stories and just hear about how God is working through something as simple as a song to really change and impact someone's life. We've definitely had experiences like that. You and I both grew up listening to different kinds of music. I was surrounded by it from basically the time I was a baby. My dad was in Christian radio for a long time, so huge part of my life growing up. You particularly more in college, right? Really?
Yeah, for the most part in college,
Yeah.
right? I guess when really, if you want to go back to when I was really starting to get serious about my faith, one of the things that really kind of impacted me was a particular song, and it wasn't really a gospel song per se, but it was a country song by a guy named Billy Dean. Now, I know I've told this story before, but I think it was just for patrons. But anyway, I won't go through the whole details, but there was a certain line in this song that said, if you ever doubt it, just think about the cross. When it comes to love, you don't count the cost. And that really, it really just grabbed a hold of my heart. God grabbed a hold of my heart is what happened at that time. And I really kind of said right then and there, God, I want to follow you. I want to do whatever you would have me to do. And that's kind of started me on the journey, and so that was really impactful. And then, like I say, there's so many I could go through. One off the top of my head is another Stephen Curtis Chapman song, "Be Still and Know." It's from that psalm, and it's a very sweet, just a guitar, pretty much only in the song.
Yeah.
And it's the lyrics are just "Be still and know that I'm God. Be still and know," and it talks about. I'm trying to remember the exact line, but it's lay your. Anyway, basically talking about being in the arms of God and just relaxing. Don't let the stresses and the anxieties of the world overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Be still and know.
That's
and
cool.
so, yeah, it's a really powerful song for me. I really love that song.
Right after I got saved at a really young age. I was about 4 or 5. I think I was 4. And I remember I was really involved in like Awana, so Cubbies at the time and Sparkies and all of that stuff. And so I was in Awana, and we had a little worship time before where we would just sing a few songs. And I remember one of those songs was "I Have Decided to Follow Jesus." Do you remember that?
Sure, of course.
So that song, I will spare you from me singing it. But I love that song of "I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus." That's just a big part of the chorus. And I don't know, something about the lyrics just stuck out to me, even as a little kid, where it felt like just a big impression in my heart as a kid, 5 years old, maybe singing it. It really just stirred something in me of, I've done this. I've decided to follow Jesus. That really stuck out to me.
Oh, that's tremendous. I love that.
As a kid. And then of course, growing up more, Third Day, God of Wonders was something that played constantly in my house, and we sang along to that a lot. anything from the Newsboys, like the Shine album, was huge, and Audio Adrenaline's early stuff was always played around my house. And so those three bands, Audio Adrenaline, Newsboys, and then Third Day, were probably like the top three. So any of those songs off of their first few albums, there's a good chance that it impacted me somehow.
Oh.
Like, I don't know, have time to explain all of it, but there's a good chance that they impacted me.
No, that's really good. You know, you brought up a hymn, and it got me to thinking there's so many hymns that have impacted me too, but probably none more than It Is Well With My Soul. That song just is so good, and the words are just tremendous. And then when you know the backstory, do you know the backstory of that song?
Yeah, it didn't, like, his wife and his children had all passed away.
Passed away, yeah.
Yeah.
And while he was not there, it was back in the days when everybody had to go from on boats from the States to Europe, and he was not there with them, and so they passed when the ship sank. And then when he was making a return trip to England, he had the people there wake him up whereabouts the ship went down, and that's when the lyrics came to him for It Is Well With My Soul. And yeah, it just is as powerful when you know the backstory of it. But yeah, my wife even for my birthday, she made me something for my office. It's a cross shape, but the lyrics, she wrote the lyrics, hand painted the lyrics on it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's really
I
pretty
like
cool.
that.
I got one more here because I figured we ought to do Richards, because Richards was a guy that inspired this
Right.
topic. Right. He wrote in a couple different ones for different reasons, but I like this one, Though You Slay Me, from Shane and Shane.
Yeah.
You know that song, right?
Right.
For a long time, Richard said, I thought, if I just get it right with God, I won't struggle anymore. He said, boy, was I wrong. See, he says, see John 16:33. And it says, how could I know that Tylenol works for headaches if I never had a headache? How could I know God is also God in the valley if I never go through the valley? This song reminds me that God is God no matter what. He proves himself even more in the valleys. His grace is really sufficient. So
That's so good. I
think
love that.
I think that's fantastic as well. But I really do think, I mean, we don't have time to get into everybody's that wrote us back. So we're definitely going to come back and do another episode on this. I think this has really turned out to be one of those kind of God things where you didn't have any idea. We were kind of struggling. What topic are we going to talk about? And it was like, well, maybe we'll throw this out there. Right. And boy, it's just, and I love it. See, I love it when it just kind of organically happens. And like
that's what really this community is all about. Is it's sharing stories and learning more about you, just how the Lord is working in your life through something as simple as listening to music, because music is such a powerful tool, and it is something that is so influential for us. And I think as believers, like, music is something that can really encourage you and come alongside you when you're discouraged or just trying to figure something out. It seems like God can use that right song and just at the right time just to encourage your heart. And so I love hearing the stories from all of the listeners for the Hopecast, just sharing those stories with us.
All right, we just wanted to jump in here really quickly because the holiday season are coming up, and we have got an amazing idea for probably the most unique gift you can give this holiday season, because think about the people on your list. You're going to have people like, I'm thinking in your life, I'm thinking about like your father-in-law. Do you have any idea what you're going to get your father-in-law right now?
No idea.
See, what I'm thinking is you could call our friend Madison and set up a commission painting from her about pretty much anything, whether it be like a favorite place, maybe that he likes, maybe even a beloved pet, maybe even, you know what I was thinking? Like a wedding picture. You know, we love wedding pictures,
Very
the physical
cool.
pictures, but what about your wedding picture? Because everybody has their favorite. Of all your pictures that you had made at your wedding, you have your favorite one, right? What if you took that favorite one and made an oil painting out of it?
Very cool.
How great would that be?
And really, our friend Madison is insanely talented. Yes. She can do all kinds of artwork, whether it's oil painting or, you know, pencil and pen. These are some of the works that she's done. So you can see this is a little bit more of a basic kind of sketch look, which is really cool.
But look at
much
that.
more detailed. This is insane. And then she also does these oil paintings that I love. Like this one's so pretty. But she's really, really gifted. And Steve is right. I think if you have those people on your list that you are kind of like, okay, I could do the basic, you know, a tie and socks or something for my dad, but I do want to get something unique. this is the route to go. I think tears are pretty much almost guaranteed
Yes.
when they open up a custom made piece of artwork that'll definitely pull some heartstrings.
Yeah, and it'll be framed up nice. I mean, you'll be happy to give this.
Yeah.
Madison will work with you every step of the way. You just get in contact with her, kind of give her your idea, and she'll go to work and she'll be in contact with you, showing you the different steps if you need her to, and then she'll be able to present you with the final product. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. It's Creations by Madison. Now, if you're not watching on YouTube with us, shame on you. You need to be watching YouTube. But if you're just listening, you can go to StephenBethany.com and you can see all of the artwork that we've been showing here with our YouTube channel. But listen, I'm telling you, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to earn some brownie points. And you want to talk about being mom's favorite?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You give your mom a custom artwork of something she loves, she's going to be telling everybody how her son or daughter is the best one of the bunch.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And all you have to do is go to StephenBethany.com. That's StephenBethany.com. We have a little banner there, Creations by Madison. Click on that. You'll get in contact with Madison directly, fill out all the details there, and kind of figure out what you want. Again, StephenBethany.com. Go there and reach out to Madison.
Okay, just a couple of things before we wrap things up. First of all, if you have not voted for us in the Hot 50 podcast countdown, please do that. We've got the links for you at the show notes, whether you're watching or listening. So be sure and do that. And number two, we've got our Tees for Bibles campaign going on. Yeah, and what this is you buy a T-shirt at StephenBethany.com. You send a Bible in your name to someone who does not have a Bible, whether it's here in the States or whether it's around the world in their native language. You can be a person who makes sure people gets the Bible in their hand, all by buying a T-shirt. And it is so easy. And we've got several designs you can choose from.
Yeah, a lot of
colors,
different options. Yeah,
and sizes, the whole deal. We'd love for you to be able to do that. Again, please, because it can make an eternal difference. So check it out at StephenBethany.com.
It's StephenBethany.com, and we've partnered with Bible League on this,
Yes.
so they are going to receive that Bible in their native tongue, and it will, you're right, it will really make an eternal impact and a difference in their lives, the people that receive this Bible. So if you want to, this is a great way to get involved and give back. Just go to our website, StephenBethany.com, click the little merch button, buy a T-shirt, and then that will go to pay for a Bible for someone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so now coming up for those of you that are watching on Patreon, we're going to be doing our aftercast here momentarily, which, by the way, is part of every single episode. So if you're a patron, you know this, but those of you that aren't, you get a pre-show and you get the aftercast in addition to everything you've already
Just some
seen
extra
and heard.
content, extra stories.
Absolutely. So it's well worth your time, Stephen Bethany, on Patreon, which is patreon.com/StephenBethany's Hopecast. Again, the link is in the show notes and everything. So,
And on this aftercast, we are going to be discussing something that I have to do later this week. I feel completely unprepared for. I feel a little bit overwhelmed.
Wow.
It has to do with my sister's wedding. And I'm
careful.
I'm feeling a little panicked, a little bit. So I'll be talking about that later in the aftercast.
all right, so we'll be getting into that. So we want to say thank you to Jarvis Jr. Very nice work out of you.
Thanks.
Maybe we ought to start a rating system. You know, how Jarvis
I think
did.
he did a 5 out of 5 today.
I think so. I think today,
really
5 out of
well.
5. He
Good
anticipated a lot today.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Want to say a big thank you to Mama Jarvis in the back. She brought us the hot chocolate. Yeah, and then Jarvis Sr. was the one that actually fixed it, but
Yeah.
he did good too.
I mean, you guys all get gold stars.
Yeah,
Gold stars all around.
I think all the way around, and yeah, I think so.
Does this do it for episode 26?
I think it does, and of course, as always, this was not fact checked by anyone. You know,
We don't care. It's
we
okay.
don't, that's right.
It's
That's
okay.
right. And good night, Olive Branch.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't wrap this without you.
I know, right? Good night, Olive Branch.